We'll have that forecast coming up. WMBD News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, meeting for the first time since May. Our Capitol newsroom with what's on the agenda for the state's General Assembly and a lame duck session. Also fighting the flu, why some doctors believe COVID-19 precautions could be curbing the number of flu cases nationwide.
The apps to help you start journaling right from your smartphone, plus expert tips on what to write about. I'm Rich DeMiro. That's coming up in TechSmart.
First, developing now, lost in the icy Illinois River. Now tonight, a tragic end to a desperate search. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Rebecca Brumfield.
And I'm Kimberly Eaton. It's been now nearly 24 hours since a kayaker vanished. We'll be showing you here video from earlier this morning as crews searched for 45-year-old Sarah Gray. Gray disappeared in the water near the Riverplex around 7:30 last night. Her husband telling Peoria County Sheriff's deputies that she'd run into ice and decided to turn around. That was the last time he saw her. Peoria County Coroner now confirming deputies have found her body. Few answers now more than 48 hours after police discovered a well-known retired surgeon stabbed to death inside his Peoria home.
Tonight, those who knew him best honoring his legacy as officers search for clues in the killing. Our Annie Kate spoke with doctors who worked alongside him. Annie.
Rebecca, I spoke with former colleagues and friends of Dr. William Marshall, who say he was a pioneer in pediatric surgery in Central Illinois. An esteemed surgeon now at the center of a homicide investigation. And as police process the scene, searching for answers inside the doctor's Peoria home, his friends and colleagues trying to process the shock of the gruesome killing of a man who they saw was a pioneer in local medicine.
You know, surgeons are exposed to and used to dealing with death sometimes daily, but when it's a friend or colleague and under these very awful circumstances, even though he was 92, it's still hard to accept.
92-year-old William Marshall, a husband and devoted father of 6, the former physician developed and expanded Peoria's College of Medicine.
I don't think that our pediatric programs could have developed to the extent that they now have without his contributions.
Working alongside Dr. William Albers.
His development of pediatric surgery in the early days in Peoria in the 70s and 80s is, I think, responsible for the growth and development of the NICU.
Saving so many lives. Now, Peoria police trying to figure out who took his. They say Wednesday morning, officers found his body inside the house on High Point Place. County Coroner Jamie Harwood says somebody stabbed Marshall on both sides of his body.
Somebody came into the home and took a life, took a father, took a grandfather, took a husband from a family that shouldn't have happened.
Now, days after the grisly discovery, police not saying much, including whether they believe the killing was a random or targeted act. Police also saying that if they have a suspect, but they've said during the course of this investigation, if you have any information, they would like to hear from you.
Annie, thanks. Today, another increase in the number of new confirmed or probable cases of COVID-19 in Illinois. In the last 24 hours, the Department of Public Health reporting more than 9,200 virus cases. The report including 126 additional deaths. The state showing a slight drop in hospitalizations at more than 3,700 patients. Illinois' positivity rate at 9.5%.
Cases spiking in McLean County today. Health officials there also reporting 5 deaths tied to COVID-19. As of last night, 50 people were in the hospital fighting the virus. At a press conference earlier today, health officials saying the county could be leaving Tier 3 mitigations as soon as next Friday. Austin Schick shows us why they're still warning people to stay vigilant in a story from our Twin Cities newsroom.
Encouraging news coming from the press conference. McLean County's health department saying the county is on track to see relaxed mitigations as soon as next Friday, January 15th. The county sitting at an 11% 7-day positivity rate, and the county's Region 2, sitting well below the 12% threshold. Health Department Public Administrator Jessica McKnight says it's ultimately up to the state, adding although there's promise, this isn't the time for community members to relax their own measures.
if we are maintaining these levels that have been set and based on science, again, we're going to need the community to continue doing all the things, even if we do relax those mitigation strategies.
McKnight also adds she isn't overly concerned with Friday's high numbers, saying she focuses more on positivity rates and weekly numbers. In the Twin Cities newsroom, I'm Austin Schick.
And in the Tri-County Health Department's confirming 13 additional virus-related deaths. That's in addition to 320 new confirmed or probable cases of the coronavirus in the last 24 hours.
Hospitals in the Peoria Metro currently treating 62 patients with COVID-19 complications. These next few days in Springfield will determine who becomes the next Speaker of the House.
Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell has a front row seat for that development, at least sort of.
This is our vantage point in the press. We're stuck up here in the nosebleeds after a police escort up here, which would be fine if we were covering a sporting event. But in fact, we're covering the legislature during some of the most historic days in the last few years, certainly the most important, significant moments of the Pritzker administration. Debate over police and safety, taxes and debt, corruption and ethics, and the race for Speaker itself. All of this coming to a head, and we're watching from the rafters. The Speaker's office ordering state police to physically barricade credentialed media from our regular access where we would have been along the perimeter of this 40,000 square foot arena. House Republican leader Jim Durkin formally asked the Speaker to lift these unnecessary restrictions.
In the proper place to make sure that our public is aware of what we're doing, it's our press corps. So I am going to make just a request through you and also to the Speaker to allow more than 5 members, for all members of the press corps, to have access to this building over the next many days as we are in session.
Even after multiple requests from the State House press corps, from letters and support from reporters all across the state, the Speaker's office still refusing to budge. His members are physically separated from reporters and any contact with the press. Now, if they wish, they can come across those lines and meet reporters for safe, socially distant interviews. We wear a mask, interview them with extension poles for the microphones, and yes, some of them have done that. But even during this pandemic, Congress allowed greater access to the press for reporters to walk the halls right alongside Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Not here, not in Illinois, at least not yet. Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell.
Coming up, slowing the spread, the actions many are taking that could be protecting from more than COVID-19.
And another day this week, another day with cloud cover. There's a look at our almanac. It has been a cloudy and cool day. Temperatures stuck in the lower 30s. The cool weather continues for now, but some signs of changes ahead. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois proud, with Kimberly Eaton, Rebecca Brumfield, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5.
Galesburg on the Storm Tracker Camera Network, sponsored by Able Monument Company.